graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Hello!
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything sucks. You don't really know no human contact. And if you interact, it's just one of those days.
Hello!
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show, and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And Paul, we finally made it to the 200th episode. I can't fucking believe it. Well over 3.5 years worth of podcasts. Welcome to all the brand new listeners. I've actually, for the past about 2 months or so, I've been putting up old episodes online as we've run out of server space on Podomatic. I've actually taken the older episodes, made video files out of them, throw them up on YouTube. And it is funny to listen to the podcast from like 3 years ago, and it's funny to hear myself talk about things that I forgot I spoke about. Like you're like, oh wow, I forgot. Or you hear me talking about movies that like are coming up that are like, oh man, I'm looking forward to the Ant-Man movie, and then afterwards it's. But welcome to all the new listeners, and a big thank you to all our long-term listeners. I'm still kind of concerned. We still haven't heard from Oscar. For those who've been following the show for the past 20 some odd episodes, Oscar, one of our main contributors. There was an earthquake in Chile. Haven't heard from him since, so I'm still kind of worried about that. But 200 fucking episodes, Paul. And who would have thought? And when I first started this podcast, part of me doing this podcast was I was unemployed in between after the time I lost custody of my daughter, even though I was still technically living with her. And if you listen to the old episodes, you can hear my daughter cooing in the background and stuff like that. And then lost my job. Then I got a job. And I moved 4 or 5 times since I've started this podcast. Here we are at episode 200. Just last week I got custody of my daughter back, and as we speak, me and Matt Curtelli are gearing up to go to our second New York Comic Con, representing the podcast. Me representing Two Strangers One Podcast. Matt representing the Tsunami Faithful podcast. We're going second year in a row. Of course, this year, I guarantee you this year is going to, once again, beat San Diego Comic-Con when it comes to just all types of news. I mean, unlike San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel will have a presence at this one. Probably not a big one, but they will have a presence. And it's not just like what they were in San Diego Comic-Con, where it was just... Marvel was there, but just representing the toys. But they are going to have panels at this year's New York Comic Con. So Paul, can you fucking believe it that here we are at second year in a row gearing up to go to fucking New York Comic Con?
Oh, it came up real quick. It was not like I've been working hard on this album with she said with Kadesh Flow. So it's been kind of like I really haven't been concentrating on any of this stuff, but all of a sudden, I'm sitting there going, I'm looking at the calendar, I'm like, oh fuck. Yeah.
Tell me about
it. I mean, as of this podcast, I'm still setting up interviews for you guys. It's kind of like, can somebody just take the gun and shoot me now in the fucking head, please?
And it really is a waiting game, unfortunately, because you reach out to people, or you try to go online and you try to see if maybe they have an agent, because sometimes it's a little more convenient, not convenient, but if you have the agents, okay. Last year we were kind of, I don't want to say burned, but we were asked to come back on Sunday to interview Jason David Frank, and unfortunately both Matt and I couldn't make it there on Sunday, so we missed out on that interview, and that would have been our big get last year.
Oh yeah. I was a little annoyed by that. We're not going to try to reach out to him this year. I don't even know if he's going.
Yeah, I don't think I was like, part of me was like, I still have the old email from last year. I'm like, okay, you fucked us last year. How about but he's not even unless I haven't researched it correctly, he's not going to be there this year. But let me tell you, that website. No, okay, the website is cool, and what I like mostly about it is you can update the events on your phone. You can update it so it syncs with an app that goes on your phone.
Right.
So at any given moment, you can highlight certain panels or whatever, put them in your phone. It'll let you know, okay, at 2:00 there's a panel for this that that you particularly have highlighted for your app. It lets you know everything that's going on and the ones that you've highlighted. And then there's even like a special list of like the ones that like you're absolutely going to go to. Like, to the best of my knowledge, I want to go to the Transformers Generations. That's going to be one that, unless something else comes up that's also very, very, very important, I'm going to try to get to. I want to get to the Titmouse panel. And I want to get to the there's one more. Jesus Christ. I have it on the list. But, and what I like is that you can sync everything up to the app, the New York Comic Con app. And, of course, don't get me wrong. It's a convenient app, but, of course, you get fucking tons of you get tons of emails. I used the app last year. I at the very least get 2 or 3 emails a week from Read Pop is the name of the company that kind of handle the passes and they handle the promotions. And don't get me wrong, I mean I'm not in no way, shape, or form am I saying they're doing a bad job or they're spamming you, but obviously we are the core audience, and we're the people that are buying tickets, we're the people buying comics, we're the people buying toys, buying merchandise, and everything like that. So it is like. It honestly feels like it was just like, it feels like last year's Comic-Con was just like a couple weeks ago. It really doesn't feel like it's been a whole fucking year.
Yeah, like I said, dude, it just really creeped up, and I'm not really prepared. I wasn't prepared to have to like get this many interviews, but it was kind of funny today. Like, for example, and we're recording on Monday. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I'm like, shit, I need to email Funimation. Mm-hmm. Within 10 minutes of me even having that thought, I have like an email from Funimation. Oh, we forgot to email you. I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess this is going to work out. So obviously, if you guys haven't been listening to the other podcast, the most important thing that we will be covering, which is huge in my realm, is the Dragon Ball Z panel. I think it's called Dragon Ball and Beyond. Mm-hmm. It's put on by Funimation, and they've said that they're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super as well. The thought process, again, like I've said, I believe I've said it on here, and I've said it on the Tsunami Faithful podcast. Pretty much, there's the thought out there from Anime News Network and all these other outlets that Funimation is pretty much going to announce that they have the rights to Dragon Ball Super. We don't know that yet. There hasn't been any indications or hints that it is going to happen. Mm-hmm. But there again, this is something so huge that this would be a huge announcement for New York Comic Con. So, that's what everybody's really in my realm of all these interviews and shit that we're trying to get. This is going to be the huge one. So that's why we're going to cover it, make sure that we're there. Hopefully interview Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat, the voices of Goku and Vegeta, and also the head of marketing, Justin Rojas. We've already recorded an interview with Justin at MomoCon. If you guys haven't seen that interview, if you go to Tsunami Faithful, actually if you go to youtube.com/Tsunami Faithful channel, I actually set up a custom YouTube URL, which is awesome. Thank you very much. So again, it's youtube.com/Tsunami Faithful channel. Mm-hmm. There you can find our interviews from MomoCon. That's where we interview Justin Rojas. We will be doing hopefully another interview with him this year, or at this con, New York Comic Con. And the only reason I'm saying that is because, if they do announce Super, then yeah, we're going to have like 50,000 questions. Mm-hmm.
And what I'm hoping for is that one of the big sponsors this year at New York Comic Con is AT&T. Like, right. The main stage is called like the AT&T stage or whatever. Now, what I'm hoping is that, unlike last year, that they will set up a halfway decent Wi-Fi in the space because, like,
Dude, there's so many people walking around that I don't think they can handle the Wi-Fi. And even if they could, it's going to be so bogged down with everybody connecting to shit that it's not even going to be funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, last year we had the. I was using the Jacob Javits Wi-Fi, and I was able to get a couple things through. I mean, of course, there were times where just loading was just ridiculous.
Right.
But reason I bring that up is that I do have my new phone. I think I don't know if the last episode I spoke about my old phone just dying, just no reason at all, just crapped out on me. A brand new 2-month-old Galaxy S6. The thing just fucking died on me. And for people who've found the show through my Stranger vlog, my Stranger vlog is where I've been recording my Stranger vlogs with, and then the phone just fucking up and dies on me. So actually, in about a day or so, I'll be releasing the newest episode recorded off the new phone. And because last year I still had my S3, and I think with the battery life and everything like that, it kind of it crapped out on me. So I'll be there with a brand. Now I am bringing it's what they call a prosumer camera. It's not a professional camera. It's not a consumer camera. It's a very, very well-to-do.
Pretty much, if we need a backup, and we may need a backup at this point.
Yeah, because Matt is like the pro camera guy. He's bringing his fucking DSLR or whatever. I'm bringing my Canon GL2, which I bought on Craigslist or whatever at a very reduced rate, because cameras don't even nowadays everything's on digital. This actually takes like magnetic tape, like the little magnetic tape. So and it's all the same shit. It's all the same data. It's just what was saved on tape is now saved on an SD card. But that was how I was able to buy it so inexpensively. But I bought that months ago. So I got my Canon GL2. Matt's gonna have his DSLR. I believe he got set up with a new microphone. I think you set him up with a new microphone.
Yeah, I set him up with a shotgun mic. He kept going, but I need a shotgun mic, and I'm like, dude, I have no money. And he's like, here's a $20 one on Amazon. I'm like, fine. I'm like, whatever. So he's got that. We have some good toys. Hopefully we'll have some good interviews. I can't really say that we will, but
I mean, the thing is that with the cameras are great, but I get fantastic video on my phone also. That's it's funny. We got into an age where the camera's almost getting obsolete because the fucking phones are so good when it comes to recording video, and then I just and I have plenty of data saved up, so I'm purposely not using my data, so. If need be, if something really I have something really cool, I could fucking just upload it right then and there.
Right.
So I get 6 gigs a month or whatever, and then on top of that, because I got my daughter a tablet, so I think technically her tablet uses gigs also, which I haven't turned on their tablet's data. I just let her use it in the Wi-Fi spot, so I even have her data to use if need be. So plenty of data on the road if I need it. But right. And it's weird kind of going through these old episodes because what I wanted to do, and this is our 200th episode, and once again, thank you for all the new listeners. Thank you for all the activity on YouTube. Thanks for all the activity on our Facebook page, facebook.com/2strangers1podcast, because I've been uploading the episodes there too. Now, just for those that were curious, I've reached out to Kristen, to see if she wanted to be on this episode, and in all fairness, she hasn't gotten back to me. I mean, I even sent her a friend request, so it's either A, she's not active on social media. I haven't sent her an email yet. I think that's going to be my next step, because I'm also just curious on how she's doing, but for those who just wanted to know whatever happened to Kristen, I'm even out of the loop. I have no idea. I would say right before Paul got on the show,
didn't you, if I remember the story correctly, and I can stop if you don't want me to say anything, but I think, wasn't there, some kind of argument with one of her friends, and then, Oh,
no. It was the girl I was seeing was from Rochester. And I had a lot of friends on my Facebook page that were, her friends or whatever. And I just, we had broken up or whatever. And I was just fuck this place, fuck Rochester. And then, and I had gotten some response back from people, and I was just like, and I just said fuck it, and I deleted everyone from Rochester on my Facebook page, every single last one, and I've slowly added a few back. The people
Yeah, you're not allowed to delete me, because if you ever delete me, I'll kill you.
I'm saying the people that the people that because I mean, unfortunately, life being the way it is, there were people that I were on my Facebook page that were just because they were friends or people that I was kind of cool with, like on a couple of social occasions, and so unfortunately, I guess just in my fucking bitter, angry rage, I had also deleted Kristen. And I don't know if she took that personally or whatever. I mean, quite frankly, she's had activity on her Facebook page just like a few months ago. I had heard, and I don't want to get into her business. I had heard through the grapevine that she might have had some medical problems and stuff like that. I don't want to, it's not my place to tell her business. But, on the off chance that she is listening, I'll probably send her an email. Maybe that'll get through. But, I would love to have her back on, and it's kind of, especially it's different now because now you and we do this episode over Skype. I mean, part of the pain in the ass when you listen to these old episodes is she used to have to come to my house, and we'd have two microphones, and then sometimes, if we fucking touched the wrong microphone wrong, the fucking thing would disconnect, and we'd have an echo, or we'd always have like tons of technical problems, and it's funny how we really honestly, I don't want to jinx it, but we really haven't had too many technical problems over Skype. So even if she doesn't necessarily have to come to my house, she can, if she's available on Skype and she has a high-speed internet connection, I would love to have her on. I'm curious on seeing what the fuck she's up to. All right, speaking of, for some reason, this reminds me of what's going on at my job right now. So people who are following the show, I am a miserable prick because I work in a fucking horrible neighborhood. I have no problems with my job. The job.
Whoa, wait. Since we're talking about your job, first of all, what happened with this manager getting beat or something?
Oh, okay. So my manager, the big manager, the gentleman who is, the top guy in our store. And as I said before, my store is in a very, very bad neighborhood. So this woman comes in, and I think this goes without saying that she's a mentally disturbed woman. I don't, there are people not too far from my store is a place that basically houses people that are like one step above being in a mental asylum. I guess, nowadays, mental health, and, you kind of tie it into the news, like with the shooting in Oregon.
Right.
Nowadays, people aren't getting the mental health treatment that they need. And unfortunately, people like that get shoved into prison. They're not getting the mental health attention that they're supposed to get. And it's a huge, huge problem. Now, what happens is in a store like mine, not too far from my store, is a place where there are people with mental issues. Now, they're not well, in this particular case, it was a violent situation, but they're not a threat. They're not a threat to themselves or anybody else. They're like one step above where like they kind of take care of themselves. I think sometimes I think they probably have like a counselor or a caseworker or someone who works with them. But for the most part, they live by themselves. And since my store is the only like corporate entity in the area, they all flock to the store. You know what I'm saying? None of them have jobs. They're all on SSI and DSS and Social Security and all that other good stuff. They all have medical programs and they have nothing else better to do but to hang out in my store. Well, this one particular woman, who I'll be honest with you, I've never seen before, but my coworkers have, is a drug user, and I guess times have gotten so desperate that she wants to get high that she was stealing the compressed air. And compressed air, the street term, they call it huffing, where you take the compressed air. And unfortunately, when I was in high school, I had friends who did it, where you would use the CO2 cartridge from a BB gun. And what you would do is you'd hold the cartridge up to like a balloon. You push in this little tab. It's kind of like pushing the nozzle on a deodorant can, and you would fill up the balloon with CO2, or is it? Yeah, no, is it C? or is it no CO or whatever? I forgot. It's not carbon dioxide. I think it's
I
carbon
wouldn't
monoxide.
know. So
Well, long story short, I mean, I guess this legal term is called inhalants, where people do this with glue. They do it with paint, with the spray paint. You take in the chemicals, you breathe them in. You either put them in a bag, or like my friends, the kids I used to know in high school, put it in a balloon. You huff the balloon, and basically what it does is it robs your brain of oxygen, giving you a buzz. Now, of course, people are like, oh, well, is that going to kill you? Yes, it's going to kill you. Heroin's going to kill you. Crack cocaine's going to kill you.
is it going to kill you? Yes, it is.
Because I can't believe that, and because what happens is when I made that post on Facebook, and even one of my coworkers, I'm like, you've never heard of huffing? Like, that's a thing. I mean, it's more in poor areas where people will take model glue, people will take spray paint, they spray it inside a brown paper bag and just inhale it. And like I said, it robs the brain of oxygen, and you kind of get a woozy, disconnected feel, and and of course, all you're doing is just fucking depriving your brain of oxygen, giving yourself fucking brain damage. So this what happened was, I guess earlier that day, she had come into the store, stole some compressed air, and left. Now, at that particular time, I wasn't there at the store at that time, and so she had stole it. And unfortunately, like, we have so much shoplifting in my store that, like, we didn't even bother chasing people sometimes. Like, if they're gonna shoplift, we're just like, fuck it, just go, And so,
Well, speaking of stores closing, like Walmart actually isn't 24 hours anymore.
yeah, all the Walmarts in Rochester have gone to closing at 10 or 11, depending on which one you're going to.
Yeah, and that's because like there's so many thefts, and apparently they've been scaling back just to be on the safe side. So
I could only imagine if my store is bad, I can only imagine a store like Walmart, where because I've seen people. I mean, one of the scams I heard is like where you'll buy like a cart full of stuff, and then you fill up an identical cart. You buy it, you wheel one cart out, and then you take the other cart that's filled with the exact same stuff you just bought and bring it to the service counter and say you want to return. My boss changed his mind. I was buying these supplies for my office. My boss changed his mind, so I got to return it. And let me tell you, there's people, I have guys, one of the big scams, and I'll get to the story in a second about the thief. Working in the neighborhood that I work in, guys do a weird thing where they say what's up to you. Now, these are thieves. These are guys who are going to steal from your store.
right.
But they say what's up to you. And they don't, and this is some polite fucking thing. They want to gauge where you come from. Like, it's like, in their mind, it's like, I'm going to steal from you, so let me acknowledge you. Like, yo, what's up? And like, dude, I'm watching you. I know you've been in the store for fucking 20 minutes and you're milling around the same fucking section. Now, of course, a customer is a customer. A customer, will come in. Of course, if you're really mulling over things, you may have both products in your hand. You're comparing one to the other. They're going back and forth. And then eventually you make your decision to leave. When you're just standing around, and also when you're buying stuff that you're there to buy, you're not looking over your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for you to look around because you're there to buy something.
Right.
If you're just standing there and someone walks in the same aisle and you're looking at them and you're getting all fucking shady and shifty, whatever. So I've noticed a lot of guys in my store, the thieves, will like, yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? Like, it's like a weird kind of thing where they're testing on, where like, whether you're watching them or maybe it's to disarm you. They'll come up to the line. Like, let's just say they see you, see them. They'll come up to the line, like if they're going to buy something, and they'll either have something in their hand, or they'll ask, when they finally get up to the front, oh, do you have such and such? Oh, no, I don't have it, and they'll ask for something we blatantly don't have. Yo, do you have the fucking tires for a 76 Volvo? No, we don't have. Oh, okay. And then, so they act like, oh, no, I was only milling around the store because I was looking to see if you guys had what I was looking for. Or they'll come with something and they're like, they'll throw something on the counter and like, oh, this is $20. Oh man, I don't have enough. Let me go out to my car. And they never come back. Or when they walk out the door, like they'll talk on their cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like you're less compelled to stop them if they're talking on the cell phone. Like, oh, I was in the store looking at stuff, but now I'm on the phone, so I'm just walking out the store because I'm continuing my conversation.
Don't you guys have a security star? Security guard.
We do have a security guard. Unfortunately, he's not there every day. Or it may be we should have someone there every minute the store is open, and we don't.
That's stupid.
And it's so ridiculous. Okay, so back to my story. All right, so this woman...
You and your tangents, I swear.
Oh yeah, I'm always.
I'm gonna send you to work, and then I'm gonna get paid for 6 a.m.
And so what happened was so actually they had my manager, and oddly enough the security guy had the back gate open. The like where the loading dock open. So this woman tries, like, I guess she must have saw like the door to the back open and the gate to the back open. So she steals the fucking compressed air and makes a beeline for the back door, trying to leave the store. So obviously you're not supposed to be leaving through that exit or whatever. And they're like, hey. And so she takes, now mind you, this is a 2-pack, and this is the compressed air. I'm talking about, like, imagine like the big size of like deodorant, but in a 2-pack where they're like cellophane together. And she swings it at my manager, clipping his ear, clipping where your ear hits where your ear meets your head.
Yeah.
So the whole top of his ear is fucking split. I mean, not down to the meat, but skin is hanging off, bleeding like a motherfucker. And so what happened was him and the security guard. Now where she was trying to leave, it kind of goes to the alley. So we kind of had her blocked in the corner. Then the security guard, he yelled out for me, and of course, I came running. And so my manager, he called the cops, and we kind of had her cornered in the corner because it's one thing to steal, it's another thing to fucking now you're assaulting the fucking. And now mind you,
right.
Like I didn't want to put my hands on her. The security guy basically we had her cornered. She wasn't going anywhere. Well, you know what she does while we're waiting for the cops to show up? She's taking hits off the fucking canister. You know what I'm saying? And you can only take so much because that stuff gets very, very cold or whatever. That's another reason I guess people put it like in balloons or brown paper bags or whatever. But she's taking hits off of it while we're waiting for the fucking cops. I tell you, the shit I fucking deal with at work is and I can't wait to now. And to kind of get back to what I was saying is, okay, I'm like third tier. There's the manager, there's the assistant manager, then there's my job. Okay. So at my job, there's 3 of us. There's 3 people at the same position I have. One guy just got fired because he had one too many no call, no shows. Because he got a job as a fucking an electrician apprentice out in Syracuse. And then the other one, this chick I work with, she's originally from Kentucky, and she's beefing with her landlord about, I guess, she wasn't supposed to have cats, and now the landlord found out she does have cats, and I guess she had been longing to go back to Kentucky anyway, so now she's leaving to go to fucking Kentucky. So for people who've been following the show, I've been hoping and praying that I would be able to transfer from my store in the fucking ghetto out to the suburbs, and unfortunately, now we have to replace 2 more people that we hired. We did have one guy. We hired him. He was supposed to be the guy to replace me. But now it's just me and him. Now we either have to hire another shift supervisor, or we have to promote a cashier up to shift supervisor, and then hire a new cashier. This is so fucking frustrating.
Right.
So I just want to transfer out of my store. And speaking of landlords, this is just me bitching. I apologize. I mean, hopefully people find this shit entertaining. The apartment complex that I live in got sold to another company.
Right.
So now I have a new landlord. So I got a letter saying, we're gonna up your rent. Now, mind you, I live in a small studio apartment. I don't have heat in my apartment. I don't. I just do not have heat. The last 2 winters, I've heated my house with space heaters. Now, with 2 space heaters, my apartment is.
Now let me ask you this question: How much do you pay there?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, you don't want to talk about it? Oh,
that I don't want to talk about. But I mean, long story short, they want to jack up my rent $50, and I'm like, Yeah, in my mind, I'm like, shit, $50 is what I pay for fucking, I'm not every month. I mean, but and I had sent them a letter. I said, no, I'm not going to pay it until you guys fix the fucking heat. I'm not paying the rent increase. And now, mind you, a couple apartments down, I know they do have heat, because I've seen. It's a long story, but I know the apartment a couple of doors down does have heat. So I said, okay, let me transfer to the other apartment and I'll pay the fucking rent. But if not, I'm not going to pay it. So hopefully, I mean, I don't want to get fucking evicted, but still, they have to go through they have to go through their.
Yeah, you'll usually get about like you'll probably get about a 30 to 45 day
window to get.
Yeah, you should just come here because it's really cheap here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's so. With that, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna if I'm gonna get evicted or not. But my landlord wants to jack up my rent. But shit, I'm not paying fucking. If you guys gotta fix this fucking heat, if you want me to fucking.
Dude, like I would honestly like, and then we'll go to the commercial break. But I honestly, if I were you, I'd be like, look, here's the deal. I haven't had fucking heat since I got here. So here's the deal. Either A, you fix my heat, or B, I'm going to report you. Mm-hmm. And by the way, you can do that. You should do that anyways because they should have been providing that for you. And if you don't have heat, then there's no reason why. If you're supposed to be paying for, heat and hot water are included in your apartment, like that should be there. And if it's not, then they're at fault.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, I gave them a third option. I said, let me move to another apartment that I know does have heat. Because it's like I said, actually when I first came to this complex, that was the apartment they showed me, and then magically when the time came, when it's time to get the keys, they gave me the apartment. They gave me the keys to this fucking apartment. So but then again, that was a different company. It's not the company I'm dealing with now. But I felt like I was part of a fucking bait and switch. Well, no, you're either going to give me a new apartment or you fucking evict me. So whatever. All right. So with that, we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-n-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com.
And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. Okay, Paul. So as we gear up, as we gear up to go to New York Comic Con, of course, this next week is probably going to hit us with tons more nerdy news, way more than what we probably have this week. I know they're teasing some sort of Batman announcement. I mean, there is a panel called Batman Bad Blood. That's one of the panels going on this weekend in New York Comic Con. And one thing that's really cool about this weekend is that it actually it's on Columbus Day weekend. So for a person like myself, like my daughter doesn't have to go back to school on Monday, so I'll be in New York City or whatever, but I don't have to rush back to Rochester to get her to school because it happens on the weekend. So
you're taking her with you, or
no, she's gonna stay up here, but I was playing with the idea of bringing her with me, but it would have just been too much of a headache or whatever. Let mommy, Let mom do her job and then take care of the kid for a little while.
Right.
I don't take any time off. And I'm still, mind you, I'm still going to be with my daughter on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday when I usually have her. I'm just not going to be with her Sunday night, which is my usual time I pick her up. But but I will be with her. So they're teasing a couple announcements now. One of the things they're teasing. Because we are coming up on October 21st. I want to say it's October 21st. I could be wrong. We're coming up to the date that's used in Back to the Future 2 when it comes to the future. So I guess part of there's been a couple announcements just this past last night or whatever. Pepsi has said that they're releasing Pepsi Perfect. And if you remember in Back to the Future 2, when Marty McFly comes to the future, he orders a Pepsi Perfect. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, if you're really paying attention, Doc Brown gives him like a $50 bill to pay for it. It turns out, and this Pepsi Perfect, and all it is, it's just Pepsi in a cool-looking bottle. Now, I think in the movie it's supposed to have like a pneumatic straw or some ridiculous shit like that, but it's basically just a cool looking bottle. It doesn't even have a straw. It's the shape of the bottle in the movie, but you just twist off the top like you would like a regular bottle. And they're calling it Pepsi Perfect. And they're charging like $23 for it, which is a bit ridiculous. The fact
how much are they charging?
I want to say that like the special bottle, whatever, they're charging like $23 for it. Now, if you do, I mean, you could kind of, not that I'm justifying it because I'm not, but if you're going to spend $20 on a fucking toy DeLorean or a toy,
right.
Fucking fun, what's they call the Pop Funko, the stupid, the toys with the big heads. I mean, if you're going to spend $20 on that, why not have $20 on a fucking Pepsi bottle?
Agreed.
So, I mean, is it stupid? Is it high price? Is it take advantage of the fans? Yes, but no one's forcing you to buy it. I mean, obviously, the people who want to get it are going to get it.
And it also probably has to do with the fact that people are going to be like, they're going to try to be getting rid of these and like using this as a collector item down the line. And there's going to be people that are going to be like, dude, I want this. I forgot to buy this. Seriously, like that's what's going to happen. People are going to be like, oh, yeah, man, I got to have this shit. So
and let me tell you, I kind of want one. I kind of want a Pepsi Perfect, and and I believe I want to say it's the 21st. I gotta maybe I should look it up while I'm talking about it. But it's what they're doing is they're gearing up for a new Blu-ray release of Back to the Future, and it's for the whole. What's the word I'm looking for? It's the whole trilogy. It's not just part 2. Okay, right. So what I'm looking... Okay. I'm looking at a screenshot right now. It's October 21st, 2015. So, we're recording this. And exactly, like, about 2 weeks, it'll be the official Back to the Future day. And then one thing that was cool is that, remember in the movie, Marty, he's standing out in front of a movie theater, and it's supposed to be a Jaws 19. Now, Jaws is owned by Universal Studios, so is Back to the Future. So they had made like a fake commercial for Jaws 19 where they kind of go through every Jaws movie, like Jaws 4, Jaws 5, Jaws 6, Jaws goes into the future, Jaws the prequel, Jaws. So like there's a goofy, like, for those who, if you haven't saw it, you haven't watched it yet, check it out. It's taking the concept and making it like a commercial for the movie, and there's no, they don't really show the shark. They don't show the 3D hologram shark like you see in Back to the Future too. But it's cute. It's smart enough that there's enough corporate synergy where they can say, hey, let's make a fake Jaws commercial, and that's a joke because Robert Zemeckis, the director, is friends with Steven Spielberg, and so when they both work for Universal Studios. Well, they both made movies for Universal Studios, so to goof on Jaws, make Jaws 19 is kind of funny. And like I said, Pepsi is releasing Pepsi Perfect. Let me see. What else do I have on my list? Okay, Paul. So, you and I, we live up here in Rochester, and here in Rochester, we have the Strong Museum of Play. Strong being the name of, I don't know what the hell Strong is. I don't know who that's supposed to be. If that's a particular person.
I think Strong is it probably has the Strong name because of Strong Hospital.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's for some reason there's a lot of buildings up here in Rochester are named after Strong. It's probably some rich family. Well, up here, it's called the Museum of Play, and you bring your kids there. You spend, I want to say it's like $13 or whatever, and it's a giant museum for play and toys, and they actually have a section up on the second floor which is called the Toy Hall of Fame. And I want to say about 2 years ago, I didn't go to the ceremony, but I went after they inducted Star Wars toys into the Star Wars Hall of Fame. Now, that being said, let's not get too excited. It was basically a glorified display. You know what I'm saying? It was a glorified display case that had Star Wars toys. Nothing super duper fantastic. But, I mean, I guess somebody somewhere has to have the Toy Hall of Fame. It just happens to be here in Rochester. So, as
a little hungry there, Chris?
No, I think that was a burp coming up. I'm sorry. This microphone.
Anyways, move on.
So, the nominees for the 2015 National Hall of Fame, and I'm gonna save the big one for us at the end. But okay, American Girl dolls, which I know, obviously being a boy I never played with, but I mean those things are like ridiculously expensive. They're like $100 or something like that. Battleship, from Hasbro. The Coloring Book. It's so funny, like some things are just so generic, like we have other things with names, and it's just like the Coloring Book. Jenga, Playmobil, is it Playmobil? Playmobil? Did you ever have Playmobiles when I was? I remember I had a couple of Playmobiles. I had like a jet, and I had I want to say a gas station maybe. The Puppet, once again, just like totally just like the random just puppet, like not a particular brand of puppet, just puppet. The Scooter, the Super Soaker, which actually I should have said that a little towards the end because that's something we actually grew up with, the Super Soaker. Okay, I'm going to skip the one that we're going to talk about in a minute. The Top, the fucking spinning top. Twister, the game where, you get people to put their, left hand green, right hand blue, right hand blue. Wiffle Ball, because I guess just regular balls weren't good enough. Wiffle Ball. And the very last one, and the one that's I find mostly the most surprising on this list, because even Super Soaker is sort of a version of a water gun, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Of all these toys, I mean, when you get such a vague list as Top and Scooter and Puppet, and then you get super specific to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I know you'd be excited about that because I probably had one Ninja Turtle in my entire life. Like I never really collected them, or I never and it's part of it is because one, I think I was a bit too old. And also, even when I wasn't too old, but I also was too poor. Like I think I only had one because of like, okay, this guy will be all of them.
Right.
If I want to change the color of his bandana, I'll just grab a marker. Now you're Michelangelo. Okay, so let me see. Let me read the listing. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic book, originally self-published by two struggling artists to satirize comic book heroes and action figures in the early 1980s. However, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles found themselves transformed into comic book and play icons, transmedia pioneers, and the enduring popular cultural sensation known as Turtle Mania, generating toys, television shows, movies, video games, and merchandise for more than a quarter century. Now, I do remember back in 1989, like, buying like the bootleg shirts in Chinatown, around, and it was right around the time like when the Batman movie was coming out. So we had the bootleg Batman T-shirts, the bootleg Simpsons T-shirts, and it's funny. I remember them through all the bootleg, not the official stuff, the bootleg stuff we went to Chinatown to buy, and it just blows my mind that the kids, a kid. The 5-year-old today knows Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My daughter knows Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, dude, they reboot that all the time, and now that Nickelodeon has it, watch out.
Yeah, so I mean, I mean, I know Ninja Turtles. Not that you're like a super duper Ninja Turtle fan, but I thought that's of all the like the vague things on this list, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles blows my mind.
I'm actually surprised it hasn't been in there before.
Well, I mean, dude, they're fucking inducting like the scooter and the wiffle ball. That shit should have been in there years ago.
Right,
that's true. I want to say this is like the 20th year. Let me see. I'm trying to remember. All right, toys by year. Let me just see real quick. Okay, no, okay. Well, no, they've been inducting toys since 1998. What, 15, 16, 17 years they've been inducting toys. You know, but none of them. Okay, back in 2004 they had G.I. Joe. 2009 they had the Game Boy.
Right.
Let me see. In 2012, that's one I was talking about. They inducted the Star Wars action figures. So that's pretty cool. All right, so what else we got? Okay.
So we got to talk about. I think you know what we're going to talk about next.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to not real quick, but I kind of wanted to talk about before we get to the major one of the show, which let's leave on a high note. Transformers. Earlier we're talking about Battleship and Hasbro did make the Battleship movie. They've put out 4 Transformer movies now. They have confirmed Transformers 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I want to be excited about this. I'm a diehard Transformers fan. I can fucking quote the 1986 movie. I'm hoping, and I made a Facebook post about this. I'm hoping that they pull a Fast and the Furious. Because remember, like the first like four Fast and the Furious movies were okay, and then like 5 on, like got like like they sort of like woke up and got better,
right?
And so I would think, Mike. Let's just say Michael Bay is definitely going to do 5. I think I'll put every dollar I have in the bank, which isn't much, on the money that Michael Bay is going to do 5. But maybe by the time they get to 6, 7, and 8, he'll kind of be like distracted and want to move on. And then like you'll bring in, let's bring in some other guy that kind of, or girl, or I mean, I say guy, I just mean person. I don't mean male. They'll bring in some other person that maybe has a different angle or a little more passion for the original source material and kind of like jazz it back up, because like these Fast and the Furious movies, I think every movie is directed by a different guy, or for the most part every movie's except for like maybe 1 or 2, I think a couple of them may have been directed by the same guy, but pretty much they get a new guy every movie. So I think once you get Michael Bay out of there, like let's just say maybe 6 will be fucking awesome, like 5 will be another shit show. It probably cost $300 million to make.
I hope another shit show. That's funny.
It's like it costs like $300 million to make, but it'll make $350 million. So technically, it makes money. So then they'll make 6 or whatever. And by the time they get to 6, 7, and 8, they'll have like new directors and a different angle, and maybe a little something interesting to say, and maybe it'll be good. So or 5 to see what a piece of shit is and just scrap the whole fucking project. Because saying you're going to make 4 movies is pretty bold. I mean, unless you're doing something like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, where that shit's already mapped out, there's no reason to say, they're going to be a 5, 6. The same thing with Fast and the Furious. They said they want to do another 3 movies. Hey, how about making 1 movie? Make 1 more and see if it's any good before you start worrying about, part 9, 10, and 11 or whatever. So, I think we could easily kill the last couple minutes of this episode talking about.
We've pretty much killed the rest of it, so let's go ahead.
All right. And not that we're just killing time for all listeners, not 200 episodes of just killing time. And once again, welcome, thank you, share every single episode. But okay, and this.
Damn it, because Chris says so.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and people like me.
Nah, let's not go that far, buddy.
And this was literally this news is we're recording. This is about 6 hours old. The internet is all abuzz. Now, if you really look at it, it is just a gigantic marketing scheme. Obviously, just for the people that are involved in it. Okay, so and
it probably has to do something with New York Comic Con. That's probably why they did it.
Oh yeah. They're smart enough to release it a couple days before New York Comic Con, so people like us will talk about it. Okay, so Forbes magazine, and of course, Forbes. Okay, it's not like they're they're not like the New York Times. It's not like they're going to. They have a reputation, but unfortunately, I mean, their job is to report about money. You know what I'm saying? It's not. But I think they've kind of hit almost a bit of a new low, where they've put out an article about Lex Luthor in coming promotion for the upcoming Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice movie. And one of the big things that right now has the internet all abuzz is that the Jesse Eisenberg is playing Lex Luthor. But in the article in Forbes magazine, they are calling him Lex Luthor Jr. And the article paints that, he's Lex Luthor Jr. because his father, Lex Luthor Sr., came to this country as an immigrant with 2 pennies in his pocket and, built this giant oil and construction conglomerate and had, his mysterious disappearance or his mysterious death in the year 2000 left his son the company. And his son has then taken that company and transformed it into a tech conglomerate. Now, of course, the first thing when they announced Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I mean, everybody kind of just said, "Oh, okay, this is going to be Jesse Eisenberg," and how could such a young person be in charge of? How could he be Lex Luthor? How could he be a person with so much money and so much power? Oh, he's playing his character that he played in. He's playing Mark Zuckerberg. He's playing a Mark Zuckerberg-esque character. Where they go, oh, he's. The reason he's so rich and famous is because he does coding and he does websites and he does internets, and so with that, I think they kind of went back and said, look, this resembles way too much of Jesse Eisenberg from. I think they added his father in at the last minute, or they started working with it, and there was such a response when. There was so much negative response when they first announced Jesse Eisenberg. Like, people were like, what? How the fuck is he Lex Luthor? He doesn't look like Lex Luthor. He looks like a little snot, and it was too close. It is really, really way too close to Mark Zuckerberg being like the self-made billionaire, whatever the case may be. I think also it kind of has to do with like retconning. I think they realize how ridiculous it sounds. How would a guy get so much power? I mean, Mark Zuckerberg has power, but he doesn't have power. So I think they said, okay, let's make him a junior. Now in the comics, and I think, and it's sad. I know it more from the show Smallville. Lex Luthor's father was Lionel Luthor. And depending on what iteration of the comics, I mean, it was always Lex Luthor. Now there is. And for all sakes purposes, there is a Lex Luthor Jr. in the comics, but he comes from another universe, and that's a whole other bullshit. That's a whole other story. But there is a Lex Luthor Jr. who is basically as smart as his father, but he's kind of a good guy. It's kind of like stories like he's from another universe, but it's in the future, and he comes over to this universe to help Superman, because Superman, being Superman, ages a hell of a lot slower than we do. So Lex Luthor Jr. helps. Where his father was such an evil prick, Lex Luthor Jr. actually helps Superman, an older Superman. The rest of us are all dead. But older Superman is helped by Lex Luthor Jr. This is not that Lex Luthor Jr. I think they just said, look, the company's called LexCorp, so we can't say, his father was Lionel Luthor. Why would Lionel call his company LexCorp? I mean, I guess they could have said, oh, he named the company after his son, even while his son was a child or whatever. I think they kind of just added this up to say, hey, we need a reason to explain how this young person has such a gigantic, worldwide, powerful, beyond fucking belief company. So we kind of have to make him a junior, make his father the senior. Because right now, and especially right now on MTV.com, the article that they have is saying that Jesse Eisenberg is like Lex Luthor Sr. is the Lex Luthor we're familiar with. And he's just the junior. Like, oh, isn't that crazy? He's the junior. And that explains why he's so old. I mean, why he's so young. No. No.
Right.
He's as young as he is because Now mind you, his father might have taught him how to be a ruthless salesman, a ruthless businessman, and because they kind of mentioned in the article, oh, his father collects rocks. Okay, well, because they're trying to introduce the whole kryptonite angle. Well, then his father collects rocks and crystals. He came across kryptonite, which then kind of probably got Lex Luthor and them to kind of investigate a little more, and then boom, okay, they discover Superman. The movie's not going to be that Jesse Eisenberg is the son of the Lex Luthor we've all come to know. Jesse Eisenberg is the Lex Luthor we all came to know. He just happens to be a junior because they need to explain why the company is so strong and far-reaching.
I think you said way too much there, so I'm just going to go with what MTV said. Since you want to be like...
I have way too much time on my hands.
Yes, you do. Well, in more ways than one. Giggity. So the way that the MTV article explains it is, apparently this Lex Luthor Jr., they're taking this Lex Luthor Jr. that was in the comics that really isn't that well known and giving him a bigger role than what he should, is what they're pretty much saying. And they're also hinting that this Lex Luthor Jr. is also working on Brainiac. So, I like where this is going. I can't say... I don't know, like...
Well, they're saying like Brainiac Brainiac, or I've heard, the rumor I heard is Darkseid. Or Apocalypse, where like, because when you see the Michael Shannon character from part one, the General Zod, he's going to use that dead body to get some sort of DNA or convert, he's going to do something with the allegedly dead body of General Zod.
Right.
Whether he changes it, he adds to it or reanimates it.
Apparently he's not in it at all. Mm-hmm. That's what I've heard. Like, if he is in it, it's like some other scene before he gets killed. So that's about all I guess he's in it.
Or maybe to reshoot the scenes of in the building. Because remember, like
something like that.
But I think But I'm saying one of the rumors is that Lex is going to use. Lex. They have his body. They have his DNA, and he's going to find a way. Somehow he's going to get his hands on the body and use Kryptonian DNA to do something with it, whether it be Brainiac or Darkseid. I mean, Brainiac or Apocalypse.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out what's going to happen. But I don't know. I mean, I think, well, first of all, because he is younger and he looks younger than obviously Ben Affleck and Superman, this makes more sense. Also, I like how they're taking this into a little bit different of a direction because, okay, fine, you could just have Lex Luthor doing whatever, but I think it's actually, not a bad idea. But there again, if you guys watched Smallville, there was obviously Lex Luthor had a father, and then, Lex Luthor actually had clones. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that, we really don't know at this point what this Lex Luthor is, if it is a Lex Luthor, or if it's a Lex Luthor Jr. We don't know if this is, like, a Lex Luthor clone that is a junior. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities here, so I don't want people to jump the gun and be like, oh, this is terrible, or, oh, this is great, because we don't know exactly what's going on yet. But my suspicion is that somehow whatever device this Lex comes up with, or Lex Luthor Jr., or whatever, it's going to be something that involves kryptonite, like you said, and it's probably going to be something that controls Superman. Because obviously there's some scenes that hint at Superman being controlled by whoever this is, So it's maybe I'm reading too much into it, but to me it makes sense that way. But also I think that it's going to be interesting to see how Batman plays into this and how the whole Justice League plays into this too. Because really, we all are probably going to be in agreement that coming out of this movie, some greater villain is going to be introduced. or hinted at, in the very least. So that way we can fight that villain in the new Justice League. So it's going to be interesting going forward. It's going to be interesting next year to see this movie and find out who that is, because this is just the beginning. And not even to mention that Warner Brothers has already said, hey, by the way, Ben Affleck, here's a bunch of money. You're doing 3 more Batman films. You're doing a trilogy, and you're going to direct them. So if it's that good, you know, hey, let me just put it this way, and this isn't even about Lex Luthor Jr. If this movie turns out to be shit, I want to know what the executives were watching, because how the hell was it that good that you did all this behind the scenes? You know, like, are you seeing a different version than what we're seeing or whatever? Because it's sounding like because of that, it set the bar high for this movie. And now this movie is going to have to come out guns blazing. It's going to have to be better than the Avengers movies. That's what I'm going to have to say to them. Like, if you're going to sit there and be like watching this and giving it a standing ovation, it's got to be better than the Avengers. And that's my take on it. As far as the Lex Luthor Jr. thing goes, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, it would be nice if they're going to do Lex Luthor Jr. It would be also nice if they do Son of Batman too. I think that would be a great angle, especially with this new Batman, because it's never been introduced at all, except for in the animated movies. So why not give it a try and see what happens? I mean, it's set up. It's set up because one of the Robins already died, so, or quote unquote died. You know, it gives an opening there. So we'll have to see. But I'm very optimistic to see what happens here.
And who knows? Who knows what the next couple of days are going to reveal? Now, also, just one little quick thing about Batman v Superman. The MPAA, the people who rate the movies and gives it a PG-13 R rating. The movie for all intents and purposes is done filming. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're doing like special effects and everything like that, but the movie has already been rated by the MPAA, and it's been giving a PG-13 rating for intense sequences of violence and action throughout, and here's the key word, some sensuality, meaning that we're gonna see, okay, maybe not straight up sex scenes or anything like that, but seeing that we have Gal Gadot in this movie as Wonder Woman, I think we're gonna see, you know,
honestly, Chris, that's gonna be a hard one too, because I mean, that's what she said, but I mean, Wonder Woman originally, that was kind of a love interest with Batman, and then all of a sudden it turned like what we've seen with Justice League, the animated one at least. All of a sudden now she's connected with Superman, so it's just like, okay.
All I'm saying is that I mean, Wonder Woman and sensuality. You got my vote. You got my money. You know, shut up and take my money. So I think we should wrap it up.
That's what she said.
Okay, please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net where you can find all things show related. You can find links to our iTunes page where you can go back and listen to older episodes. You can't go back and listen to the very, very first episodes because those have been taken off our server, but you can find them on YouTube, but I'll get to that in a second. Once again, you go back, if you have an iPhone, iPad, or iPod, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, so when the new episode comes out, boom, you download it, it's right there on your device. There you go. If you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod, you can download the Stitcher app for Android devices. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app, and you can download it's just like the iTunes. Go back and listen to past episodes. Oh no, excuse me. You can go back. It will constantly update your phone to the most recent 6 to 10 episodes. And what I like the most is that it has a listen later option where if you're at home, you're in the Wi-Fi. If you're at a McDonald's or public library, place with Wi-Fi, you can download the episodes there, listen to them later on, so it doesn't kill your data if you have a data plan. It doesn't kill your battery because you're not listening, you're not downloading something from far away. Download it to your phone, listen to it later, saves your battery, saves your data plan, saves you everything. Every podcast worth listening is on the Stitcher app. You got, Chris Hardwick's The Nerdist, Kevin Smith's Smodcast, This American Life, Adam Carolla, Mark Maron, and of course, Other Baby, the Tsunami podcast, is on Stitcher. On Facebook, and we've been having tons and tons and tons of Facebook activity. People have been sharing us, and what's cool is that when people share us and like when you like something, it shows up on your timeline, then that it gets exposed to other people. So let me tell you, about a week ago, we had the reach was up to, and I'm not even exaggerating, like 95,000 people, because enough people were liking and sharing that, that it shows up on enough people's timelines and then other people check it out. So, it's fucking fantastic. Like I said, those are people who just view it. I'm pretty sure, obviously, a bunch of people, now a couple hundred people actually interacted, but, the fact that it reached that many people blew my fucking mind. So please, if you don't have any money to support the show, just take, and I get it, people, times are rough. Just share an episode, share this episode, share past episodes, share a picture, share the page itself.
Share some nudity with us, share some porn,
Just saying, just like the page or share the page, because unfortunately, of the people who do like the page, only 20% or so, and that's because Facebook has bullshit, archaic fucking regulations, but only about 20% of the people that are actually who like the show get to see it. Now, you can hover over the like button and click show in newsfeed, so you can make sure you get every single update. But like I said, and new listeners, just share us and like us. Get those numbers up, or when we get seen more on more people's timelines, because then people are like, oh, what the fuck is this, and they check it out. And then once again, we've had tons and tons of activity on our Facebook page, and I want to thank every single new person, new listener, and of course, and a thank you to all our older listeners who've been around for with us for a minute. We're on Twitter. Technically, we're on Twitter at Stranger Podcast. Unfortunately, I'm not as active as I should, and I want to be. I just aren't enough fucking hours in a day. I got to work and then come home and do shit, and now that I have custody of my daughter, that kind of takes a bit of my time and everything like that. But I'm working on it, because also another thing that's kind of taking up my time is I've been uploading the old episodes on YouTube. So you can go to Facebook.com. I'm not Facebook. Excuse me. Go to YouTube, search for Two Strangers One Podcast, and then on top of releasing the older episodes, I've been putting out my Stranger vlogs. I believe I'm up to like 19, or I should be releasing 20 in a day or two. So the Stranger vlogs have been getting a lot of activity also. I think I want to like put it out there. I want to ask like when you have the Ask FM, I want to have people like ask questions so I can answer them on the Stranger vlog, but I'll get to that eventually. But So on top of releasing the older episodes just so we could clear up space on our server, I am putting out new content. Like I said, I do a Stranger vlog about twice a week. A Stranger vlog, VLOG, not Stranger blog, Stranger vlog. And once again, you just go to YouTube and search for Two Strangers One Podcast. You'll see, I think we have like about 70 some odd videos out now. Let me see. And also, for people who've been following the show recently, one of our biggest contributors has kind of disappeared, and I'm kind of worried about him. But if you want to contribute and write to us, you can write to us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's all spelled out. twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. And you can interact with us, like we've had in the past. Oscar, we named episodes after stuff that he said in the email, because it just became that fucking entertaining. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any suggestions. If you want to talk about something, you want us to talk about something, every little bit helps. You want to tell us you like us, you want to tell us we suck, whatever. Oscar started with the emails on how much he hated us, and then eventually he became a fucking part of the show. So, that can happen to you too. Just don't die in an earthquake. So, I acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
Oh, about time. So you can follow us on Twitter you can follow me at Twitter as at Paul Pascrillo. You can follow me, or you can actually ask me questions at ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. And I have an Instagram. It's instagram.com/Paul Pascrillo. Sometimes I post some pictures there. And let's see. One other thing I really want to mention is I have a CD coming out that I'm publishing for an artist called Kadesh Flow, and it is coming out this Friday, which will be October 9th. Right now, if you want to pre-order it, you can go to iTunes and search for the album's name is We Are the Faithful. It's thematically based on One Piece, but these songs are just incredible to the fact of you should just get this anyways and support the man. This guy really needs your guys' support. We're trying to make as much money as we can. A lot of it to propel Kadesh Flow to a next project that would do even more than this one. And this is just we want to support the nerdcore community because this is one of the big nerdcore rappers out there, and we want to just take this to the next level and just destroy everything. So let's just do this and get this thing. So iTunes.com. If you go there, you search for We Are the Faithful, you can pre-order it now. And then if you want 2 free bonus tracks just for ordering, it's geekyproductions.bandcamp.com. So you'll see album images. You want to click on the We Are the Faithful image, and then boom. You're right there. You can pre-order the album. It's actually cheaper there. It'll be $5, and you get 2 tracks exclusively just for getting it on Bandcamp for free. So do that now, and trust me, you won't regret it. So.
And oh Jesus, I just wanted to also give a shout out to Christopher Vangelis. I always mess up his name. He helped. He contributed to one episode. I mean, he's a friend of mine on Facebook, and he's doing shit. There we go. Okay, his name is Chris Vangelis. That's KrisVangalis. He has a GoFundMe. He's trying to get his a new MacBook because his old one went the way of the dodo, and he does a lot of cool art. And my joke is, and not a joke. I mean, I seriously had sent him a whole script because I want him to do a Batman comic of mine, and if I had the money, I'd pay him. If I had the money, I'd say, here's a MacBook. Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties, people. I touched my microphone and it magically fucking got disconnected. We certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. You should be fapping.
In NYC, baby.
New York City Comic Con. Represent.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia is spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
yeah,
man.
Is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will totally read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne right now.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.